I did this.
LeBron,
Come on. You know what it is. Hey, what's after practice? You see me practicing right now. Come
James
on.
Harden went to the Nets today.
Wait, James Harden went what? To the Mets?
The Nets.
The Mets?
Look.
James Harden went to the Nets?
Yes.
So it's James, KD, and Kyrie?
Yes.
I'm 36. I'm 36. Why is it always everybody versus me? I'm not Thanos. Golly. Let's stop throwing the ball. Man, I can't keep doing this. I'm tired. I just beat the Warriors.
I'm 36. I'm 36. Stop throwing the ball. Man, when he said
He went to the Mets.
To the Mets was all time. All right, that was Mark Phillips' impersonation of LeBron. LeBron actually responding to that. So we've got the Twitter response from LeBron. Now we've also got his post-game reaction to Brooklyn's big move to bring in James Harden.
Don't really have too much of a reaction. Obviously trades and things happen every year. And, for me, my main focus on what we do here and how we continue to get better. And that was the case today. The trades happened today, and I couldn't allow myself to kind of indulge in that, knowing that we had a team that we had to play tonight. So my main focus today was on the Thunder.
I mean, he got to one of his destinations. He wanted to play there. We'll see how it go. I mean, KD and James played together in OKC, and then you add another guy, Kyrie. Lost some key players. Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, but they look good on paper, and we'll see how it goes when those guys get in between the lines and get a chance to play alongside each other.
If you like drama, here we go. This is going to be fun. Wednesday's 7-player, 4-team deal shakes things up a bit in the NBA. James Harden is heading to the Nets to join Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Remember Steve Nash and his first season as an NBA head coach. I wish my friend Steve
welcome to the league.
Good luck,
Steve.
coach.
Yeah, it's a coach.
Let's get a little reaction, guys. I feel like, KD joined the Warriors to beat LeBron, and now you got Kyrie, Harden, and Durant teaming up to try to beat LeBron. It's always about beating LeBron James. Give me your reaction, James Harden trade.
This could be colossal. This could be amazing. This could be a fun team to watch. They all get along. They all sing Kumbaya. Or it could go the other way, as in the Rockets of last season. They had Westbrook. They had Harden. They had Clint Capella, who was supposed to be their rebounder, shot blocker. None of them are still with that franchise after they lost to the Lakers in the second round. So it could go either way. I don't love that they got rid of Jared Allen, a good young center. And Karis LeVert is a good starter for 28 NBA teams, I'd say. So they gave up some youth, a ton of draft picks. I see what they're doing. They have to go for it because these guys are all getting into their 30s. I don't know if it's going to work. I think it will, but I'm not quite certain.
Dan, you've covered the national beat for a long time. When something like this goes down, it changes the landscape. I think it's hard for fans, for people to understand. I mean, James Harden, he was getting paid a lot of money. He's under contract for a couple more years. You heard what Boogie and his teammates said, the disrespect, the complaining, and then he gets to go where he wants, to a really good team, and it just seems a little unfair, but it is what it is.
Yeah, to be talented and bearded and have a step back, right? You get to do kind of whatever you want to do. You get to go to the club, you get to go drop 50. It's just you shoot all the time. It looks like a pretty good life. I think it's an interesting deal. I think I get why fans kind of look at this and say, like, this is a guy that wasn't under. It's not like he's a free agent at the end of this season, right? He's got 3 more years really on his deal.
3 more.
2 plus. Money. He has a player option. He has a ton of money being paid by the Rockets. But I think, right, it's admirable that he wants to win. That what Brez mentioned, right, is like, will he play that way? The way that James Harden has played to this point in his career has not produced winning to the level that he wants to. He's gotten close. They got to the doorstep against the Warriors. I worry about him as a complimentary player. He's not the best player on that team. It's Kevin Durant. I wonder how Kyrie Irving is going to live life as the 3rd best player on a team once he returns. There are chemistry issues galore. There's depth issues. That being said, 100 times out of 100, you take the talent and hope that you can figure it out, right?
Yeah,
like
this every time you take the talent.
There might not be 3 better players that have ever been together, and like at least in the last 20 years that I can think of, like those 3 guys, it's as individually talented as anybody.
Dan, is it a disappointment or a failure if the Lakers and Nets don't meet in the final, in your opinion? Are they that favored?
I think the Lakers for sure are. I'm still not 100% sure the Nets are the best team in the East, and because there are 2 sides of the basketball. And this is a team that has gotten demonstrably worse defensively when you lose Jared Allen. Will it be disappointing if it's, say, the Lakers and not the Nets or the Bucks? Yeah, that'd be pretty disappointing. Or the Celtics. I hope we get to see it. It'd be really fun, and we can get Mark. Was that Mark B from Twitter? He can get some more videos. He can throw the ball around. Maybe get some seats. It'll be good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah, Lakers Mets. That could be a fun finals.
Brez, do they jump immediately to the top of your list as favorites?
No. I need to see what it looks like.
Yep.
I mean, as Dan alluded to, where is Kyrie Irving? As we briefly mentioned, Steve Nash. I mean, he's been a coach for all of 1 month.
Yeah.
How is this going to work? I mean, he was such a smart guy on the court. You and I know him a little bit off the court. I think he can do it. But he's going to be challenged right away with some pretty big egos on this team and not much depth. If one of those three guys gets hurt, that's trouble.
What do James Harden's exits from the Thunder and Rockets have in common?
What's the punchline?
I'll give you the answer. LeBron James. He eliminated James Harden in the finals when he was with the Thunder. He left and got traded to the Rockets. He broke James Harden and the Rockets this time, and Harden just got up and walked away on a press conference and said, "I'm out." LeBron James is your answer. Here's the updated odds to win the title after the trade.
Ooh, Nets.
Lakers plus 260.
Up there.
Still the favorites, but they're hanging on by a thread. Here come the Brooklyn Nets plus 270.
That's
the
fast.
Clippers, Hank's Clippers, one of our producers, plus 600. Bucks 700. 76ers plus 1,800. Ryan Trainer, our producer, loves his team, the 76ers. All right, the city where we grow up, our childhood home, stays with us regardless where life takes us. Backstage travels to Flint, Michigan with Kyle Kuzma and how that city influenced his Friday night against the Pelicans, a game you can see right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. No games this weekend. Monday, they host the Warriors MLK Day before hitting the road for a 7-game trip that includes stops in Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland. They got the Hawks in there. With more, we go over to Brez and Big Game James.
All right, thanks, Keith. James, got to start with the record that the Lakers established last night. First time in 73 years of the franchise's existence, they won their first 7 road games. What does that mean to you? And how hard is it to do, even though there's still no fans in the stands or anything like that?
Yeah, it's difficult, to go on the road and be successful, especially a back-to-back road game. But the Lakers have proven that they know how to win on the road. They take a philosophy on the road. Defensively is where they start. And when they start with their defense, they get clicking. So I think that's been a major part, of their road play. The bench, Brez, I think, if not the best, one of the best in the league. They're capable of giving you anywhere from 35 to 55 points on a given night. So I think that's the key to winning on the road is defense, rebounding, getting out, and running. So they've done a good job of that.
Yeah, fans or no fans, still quite the accomplishment. LeBron James, he's heating up from deep. 5 of 8 from three-point range last night, 4 of 9 the previous game. It's kind of fun to watch, isn't it?
Well, they can't stop him from doing all the other things that he does, posting up, driving downhill, his spin moves. They can't stop that. So they're kind of giving him that shot. They're not giving it to him, but they're playing back, expecting to drive. And LeBron is just, he's taking what they're giving him. He knows they're going to give him that shot. He's gotten a lot better at it, a lot more comfortable shooting it. And, if he has the spacing, if they're not up on him tight, he's very capable of knocking those down on a consistent basis.
Those logo threes are crazy to watch. It's amazing. Montrezl Harrell, okay, he made 8 baskets. That included 7 layups and a dunk. I mean, the guy's just relentless around that rim. How much do you like his game, and how much do you appreciate it now that he's with the Lakers?
Love him and appreciate his game. Always have appreciated, even when he was across town. Like I said before, Brez, he used to beat my Tar Heels up when he was at Louisville. Relentless effort. You hate guarding someone like that because he never takes plays off. He's always going through the offensive board. And if there's a guard or a player that's driving into the lane, he's always in position to receive that internal pass, usually for a high percentage shot. So he's a throwback to an old school type of player. Just tough, rugged, physical, and never takes a night off, never takes a play off. And he's been a major asset to this team and really, provides a lot of punch when AD and LeBron are not in the game. He gives them a lift even when they're in the game. So just an amazing talent.
Yeah, he's only 6'7". That's what he's listed anyway, maybe a little bit under that. Is there anybody he reminds you of over the years? You just talked about old school, rock'em sock'em basketball. Anyone come to mind?
Not really, not at that height. I mean, Dennis Rodman was similar, as far as rebounding and relentless effort, offensive boards and things of that nature. That's the closest thing that I can think of that I played, because Dennis didn't take any plays off either. He knew when the ball was in the air, where it was coming off. He also was available for nice little touch passes. So not exactly like Dennis, but the same production level.
Oh, I like that analogy. All right, Lakers coming home. They're going to play New Orleans and then Golden State before they go back on the road again. They're 7-0 on the road, 3-3 at Staples Center. What can they do? Any ideas for them? I mean, New Orleans, they're old friends coming back to Staples. That should be enough to get them going at least.
Well, when you get home, you're comfortable. You kind of let your guards down a little bit. You got your family. You're going to your barber if your barbershop's open. You're doing things that you don't do when you're on the road. When you're on the road, it's just the players, and they seem to do a pretty good job. I heard LeBron say when they're on the airplane, when they're on the bus, they're not getting a lot of practice time, but they're getting a lot of together time. So if they could just bring that back to the home court and just start the way they start on the road with defense. It's always the start. It seems like the home games, they've gotten themselves in a hole and have had to dig their way out. Quicker starts at home.
Guy knows what he's talking about. Listen up, Lakers.
Laker insider Mike Bresnahan, and joining us remotely, LA Times Lakers beat writer Dan Wojcicki. Dan, how you feeling going into show number 2? How's the Wi-Fi?
Everything seems good. Nothing's been on fire yet.
Yeah.
We do have a crying baby. We don't have a barking dog. But I'm sure it'll get worse.
You know what? Good start so far, Brez. Let's roll
Sounds
right
pretty quiet over there.
To the show. Lakers are on fire with Wednesday's win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. The purple and gold improved to a franchise best 7-0 on the road to start the season. The last time the Lakers were this good on the road to start the season, Magic was dishing no-look passes to Cap, who was serving up sky hooks, and Big Game is running the lane. Following the win, LeBron spoke about the team's mentality following the successful road trip.
We just have a bunker mentality when we go on the road. It's just us. And obviously it's even more just us because of the restrictions and the COVID and everything that's going on. So we come together even closer.
Brian, when you made your last three over Roby, who were you looking at in the stands? Anybody at all? And did anybody else at you again?
I don't know, man. It was actually somebody up there, but I was actually looking for nobody. I mean, I'm just, visualizing us having fans back in the building again at some point. It was great to see some fans in Houston. Me playing the game that I love to play, and then along with the fans, something I dream about all the time. So even when I'm on the floor, just try to let them know that we miss them, and that was one of those moments.
Is it really a road game? You don't know, there's no fans, so the court just, is the only difference. But we go out and try to compete, each and every night, even though we're still trying to figure things out. And if we can get a win out of it, then it just makes it a bonus.
Honestly, at the end of the day, man, you got to respect it because we went out and played the game. No matter whether the fans was there or not, no fans score a single basket or, make a single defensive possession. So at the end of the day, we went on the road and we still carried out our game plan, both offensive and defensive, to win the game. So I don't care if fans are in there or not. That has nothing to do with, what's going on in between those four lines. So, I don't pay that any mind. We came out. We've done a great job on the road thus far, and we're just trying to continue to keep it going.
It was a perfect road trip. The Lakers blow out the Rockets twice and OKC last night, second night of a back-to-back. They led for all but about 11 seconds for real in all 3 nights. It was crazy. Top 2 takeaways from the perfect road trip. Brez, give me one.
I think the switch has been flipped. We've been wondering what happened to the Lakers last week. They got behind fairly large in 2 games in Memphis and another one in San Antonio. Able to rescue the games in Memphis, but not really one in San Antonio. They're back. people who said they're tired, they are wrong. This team actually looks pretty fresh. It seems like there's some young legs out there, even though LeBron is now, as we know, 36. Good passing, good sharing, and good three-point shooting. Did not think we'd be saying that this soon with all these new faces, all these new shooters on this team. But the switch is flipped, guys.
Yeah, Brez, I agree with you. I know the competition wasn't great, bottom half of the league, but the way the Lakers looked,
Dominance.
They definitely flipped that switch. All right, Wakey, what about for you? Number one.
Guys, great, beautiful, handsome minds all think alike. I mean, I think it's the difference between the top and the bottom. The haves and the has-nots, and the Lakers are clearly haves. And I think that, to me, especially against Houston, seeing the stark contrast between a team that's together, a team that likes playing with one another, a team that can share the ball and have fun versus a team that was clearly miserable, to me was just like so eye-opening, right? I mean, the Rockets implosion was probably happening no matter what. The Lakers were there kind of, to put the TNT plunger down, though, and blow that whole thing up. That to me was the biggest thing is, boy, the good teams look really good, and the Lakers are one of them. And those other teams, boy, there's a big gap.
There really is, Dan. Well said. Brez, number two?
The bench.
The mob.
Yeah, remember last season, pretty good vets on that bench. You got Rondo, you got Dwight Howard, both gone. So far, though, this bench might be better.
Firepower.
A lot of firepower. I mean, Montrezl Harrell, the guy's a bulldozer. I mean, watching him up close now, Dan, I know you covered him for a little bit when you're doing some Clippers stuff, but when you see him night after night, you realize this guy does not take no for an answer. Kuz is Kuz, still kind of chilling with the backups, a spot starter from time to time. Alex Caruso coming back from that week and a half off. And, of course, the last few games, Lakers have done a lot without Wesley Matthews. Imagine when he gets back to the mix and joins that reserve crew. These guys look good coming off the bench.
Yeah, really impressive, and they can punch you a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, what about for you, number two?
I'm going to channel my Allie Clifton. All right.
Yeah.
LeBron James is playing awesome.
He really is. What a shock, right? What a shock.
To me, it's, I think going into this season, when talking about MVPs, and we did this on the show last time, I said Anthony Davis. LeBron, to me, is separated himself, at least early here in the first month or so, as the Laker that seems most MVP focused, most MVP worthy. A guy who is playing incredibly well, doing it on both ends, and honestly, not even playing that many minutes. And his efficiency is through the roof, shooting almost 39% from three, answering BT's questions wonderfully. I mean, it's a real MVP performance whenever he's around. To me, he's got a real shot at winning this award, guys, if the Lakers keep playing well.
I mean, Dan, he literally has a case to be MVP for the last 10, 11 seasons in a row, right?
But this wasn't his time, right? Like, this seemed like it was like the 80 moment.
Yeah.
LeBron's the older player. The Lakers were going to take it easy and all of that stuff. And really, it's been, LeBron has been the guy, the constant. AD's been the guy that's been on the injury report with different stuff every few weeks. LeBron, to me, has been rock solid so far.
Incredible.
We'll see if 30, 40 games into the season that maybe that kind of slows down a little bit. But, boy, he's out of the gate strong.
Yeah, he really is. All right, here's what LeBron and AD did Wednesday night against the Thunder. LeBron scored a game-high 26. The duo combined for 44 points and 17 of 33 shooting. LeBron made 5 threes and had 7 assists, while AD also added 7 boards. The Lakers are an NBA best, 10-3. After the game, LeBron spoke about continuing to build chemistry with this year's group.
Our camaraderie and our togetherness continue to grow, both on and off the floor, and we want to continue to build off of that. It's not much, practice time, but we use the plane and the bus rides and the meetings that we have on the road and things of that nature, and we just continue to build, and we continue to hold each other accountable. And it's fun when you play for one another, and we have a selfless team. So, I think all of us are having a good time right now, but you have a good time when you win it. And that's what's the most important. When you win and you also learn from your wins, that's fun. And we want to continue that.
We're starting to find our niche together. Dennis and Mark are, incorporating themselves into our offense, into our defense. I'm starting to find a rhythm. Brian has found his rhythm. Kenny's finding his rhythm. And guys are just getting comfortable. We knew it was going to